Okay, so to create set out information for our design, then what I want is points at the same locations, I suppose, as the resurveyed points that I created earlier on. So basically, I want center line, the center of the lanes on the left and right, at those locations, those lines, and also the road edges. Okay, so the handiest way to do that is create a new assembly, a new corridor, and extract points out of the corridor, similar to what we did for those resurveyed points earlier on. So I'm going to create a new assembly here. I'm going to call this final design setout. Click OK. Just going to stick it in there beside the rest of the ones. And the sub-assembly we're going to use in this case is the link offset on surface. Okay, so before I attach that, I'm just going to look at the properties, and I'm just going to set the offset from baseline to 1, and the point codes to, in this case I'll do the right hand side first, so CER, and attach that there. Okay, I'm going to add in the next one, which should be road edge right. Just going to attach it on to the end of that there. So don't worry about the slope of these things or the width of them. So we're going to be setting targets on the corridor when it comes to building it. So this is going to be CER. Okay, so you'll notice I'm just changing the offset to minus there to do it on the left. And I just realized I put in the wrong code, so this is road edge left. Just need to change the code to that one. So it should be that should be CEL. Okay, now actually it's probably good practice for us to change the actual names as well as the code, so that'll be CEL. This one would be REL, road edge left. So it just makes it easier to target, to create the targets when you're building the corridor than if you have the sub-assemblies named. And that's RER. Okay, so hopefully I have them named right. Yeah. Okay, so that's what our assembly looks like. So we go and build a corridor from that. And I'm going to call this final design setout. The surveyed centerline, that's fine. The smoother profile, the assembly is that one. Target surface is oh, actually I forgot to do that. So I only have a corridor surface for the top of the regulated material. I need a corridor surface for the top of the overlay layer as well. So actually before I create the corridor, I'll just come out of this, and on our final design corridor, go into the properties, we're going to create a new surface here. So this is going to be top of overlay layer, and I may as well put a surface style on this one so we can see it, and it's the top links in this case. Okay, so it's the top level elements of your design corridor. So click OK on that, and now when we go back to create our set out corridor, we can target that surface. Okay, so go to corridor now, and this is our final design set out, and then we choose that surface. Final design sorry, the assembly, and the target surface is the top of overlay. Okay, and I'll just untick that for the moment, and we'll go with that to create a corridor based on that. Okay, in your tool space here, final design setout, I'm going to go into the properties first, go to the codes tab, change the code set style so we can see it. Parameters tab, verify that the frequencies are all 10 meter intervals, and there's no additional ones, no additional sampling points. Set all targets then. Target surface should be the top of overlay, and then we just set the targets for the center of the right and left lanes, and the road edge for the left and right. Okay, so that's the same targets as we would have picked before. So I'm just going to do that. Just the right one, then we do the left. And then we do road edge right. So let me just pick that. Just underneath here somewhere. Okay, I think I got the correct one. And then the same for the left hand side. So okay, so just build that, click OK, and just going to set that to rebuild automatic in toolspace here. And I realize I forgot one thing on the assembly. I need to create a marked point for the center line. Okay, so I'm going to add on a marked point assembly here. So in my properties, I'm going to change the name to center line, and that's going to be center line, and just add it on. Okay, so that'll just be an additional point now when we extract points from that corridor, that'll come out as well. Okay, so that is my final design Setout corridor. Click on Launchpad, points from corridor. Okay, for entire corridor range, I'm going to add these to final design Setout point group, and then you can see all of the points as they're going to come out here. Creates those points, and then you can export those from your point groups, final design Setout, export them out to CSV file or something similar, and that's your final Setout information created. Okay, so just I suppose one other thing I have been asked for, I suppose, a number of times is creating Setout information that, say, like half a meter or 1 meter or 2 meter offset from the baseline, and the way you do that is you just create a number of these elements, so number of these small sub-assemblies. So that's a 1 meter offset from the baseline. Okay, so that'd be, you might want to change the name of that to be 1 meter, 1 meter right or something like that. And then instead of setting a target in the corridor for it, if you remove the target, okay, and delete that target, and just let the corridor rebuild, and the points or the line that I get in the corridor then is at the 1 meter offset. Okay, so you could add a number of those elements into your assembly for 1 meter, half meter, 2 meters, whatever it is, the whole way out, and then you could just extract those points out for Setout instead. Okay.